Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's tutorial is a graduated bob. This is a beautiful classic haircut that is absolutely timeless. I'm going to take you through step-by-step process, the whole haircut, making it easy and simple for you to follow along at home. I'm beginning my haircut with one central section that runs from the crown to the nape of the neck, and the rest of the hair is secured and clipped out of the way. This is going to be my guideline for my whole haircut. One of the first things we have to understand when cutting this haircut is how short to cut our length. Of course, when we're working with clients, we can base this on reference images, ideas they might like, people they might have seen on social media, online for inspiration, but also it needs to be based on the hair type, texture and density to make sure that this is manageable for them. I'm going to start at the very top of my section. I'm going to take a small piece of the hair, and this is going to become my guideline for my graduation. I'm basing my decision on where the hair sits and naturally curves back in. A good reference point for this is often around the occipital bone. If you cut this hair on or above the occipital, it may have a tendency to stick out a little and not sit quite so rounded and smooth. So in this scenario, we're going to come just below the occipital, take this piece of hair with no tension and cut ourselves in a guideline. I'm going to take a second guideline in the nape of the neck. This is going to determine my overall length. So again, I'm basing this decision on where the hair curves naturally to make it easier for blow drying and styling. And I'm just cutting and shaping this hair in. So therefore I have two guidelines, one at the bottom and then the one from previous at the top of the section. What we're going to do now is connect in our two guidelines. I'm going to comb the hair beginning at the top of my section, bringing my fingers out towards the guideline that I have previously cut, and making sure my knuckles point in towards my second guideline. Using these two reference points means I don't have to worry about angles of fingers and overcomplicate or confuse the process. I make sure my knuckles point in, using the guide, cutting the hair from top to bottom, combing the hair out, making sure my knuckles point in towards the hairline, and cutting my line. As you work towards the bottom of the hairline and the hair begins to get shorter, this may become slightly more challenging to get your fingers in. My suggestion here is working on smaller segments, making this process much easier. As we pick up the bottom section, you're going to see that I then have both guidelines in my fingers. The one here at the bottom hairline and then the one from previous. We can begin to see how our graduated shape is going to form and sit, giving us a guideline for the rest of our haircut. I've separated the hair in the center, using this now as my guideline and taking diagonal sections from the center out towards the hairline. The reason I'm using diagonal sections is because it makes it easier for my hand position to hold and secure the hair whilst keeping my body posture good. I'm going to comb the hair into my fingers, holding the guideline at the top of the section and cutting the hair from long internally to shorter on the perimeter, creating my graduated shape. Any unwanted hair can be removed afterwards to clean up our outline. Combing the hair down, cutting the hair from the bottom this time towards my guide. We comb this hair down, connecting in. As I work into the sections now, I'm combing the hair back to the previous section. This means I'm elevating the hair out from the head at the height of the previous section. I will now show you this from the side angle in order for you to see clearly how much elevation we are using. Repeating the process on the right hand side of the head. This time cutting from top to bottom, making sure my knuckles point in towards the nape of the neck, continuing to create my graduated shape. Begin working on the left hand side first, combing the hair back to my previous section, and at the height of my previous section, making sure I can clearly see my guide, and then cutting my line. Following the guide, keeping my sections neat and clean, and working this time from top to bottom. Lowering the angle of elevation into the corner, making sure we maintain the length as the hairline lifts. Now we are getting close to the top of the ear. My next section is going to run all the way from center back into the front hairline. This section is going to be slightly larger because of course we're going to break it down into smaller diagonal sections in order for us to work our graduated shape into the front hairline. Combing the hair back to the previous section, making sure I can clearly see my guideline, and cutting the hair working from long to short into the hairline. Lowering the angle of elevation into the nape of the neck, making sure we keep enough length as the hairline changes shape. As I work closer to the ear, I now have a decision to make based on how much length I want to maintain. Initially, I'm still just over directing back to the previous section, following the shape and the guideline clearly, my knuckles pointing in towards the nape of the neck to create that perfect build-up of weight and graduated shape. As I come to the sections around and in front of the ear, I have to make a decision how much I want to over-direct this hair. If I over-direct the hair at the very front hairline into the length of the hair behind the ear, this is going to mean my length considerably increases into the front, giving me a much longer inverted shape. Alternatively, I can just over-direct back to the previous section, and then this is going to ensure a gradual increase in length. Once my first two sections on the sides are complete, I'm going to pull the hair down to check the balance of my shape before I move on to my next sections. To make the process more time efficient, I am now going to cut all of the left hand side of the head before moving on to the right hand side. I'm going to tilt the head slightly over to the side to make it easier to keep my back straight, combing the hair down, clearly following the guideline here and from my original central section, and cutting the hair. You will now see as I work through, although I'm still over directing back to the previous section, I am able to use a slightly higher amount of elevation. This is because I've already maintained the length and weight in the perimeter. Therefore, lifting the hair will make it less heavy as I work through my haircut. Once complete, I'm going to switch to the right hand side of the head, repeating the process as we did previously. combing the hair out to the guideline and cutting my line. Now my haircut is complete, I'm going to blow dry this haircut using a wrap drying technique. I'm going to use a vest brush, which is half a round brush. The bristles are flexible, allowing me to wrap the brush around the head whilst heating it with the hairdryer to smooth and straighten the hair, creating that beautiful finish without too much lift at the root area. I begin this process in the hairline or with the most difficult areas with the most movement. Now you can see the haircut is blow dried, smoothed out and ready to refine. Now I like to refine my haircut starting with the internal shape and finishing with the outline, because everything we do internally affects how the outline falls. So I'm going to show you the two main methods of refining I use for all of my internal shape on a graduated bob. We are going to start with a central section. We are going to comb this hair out, and the first thing I'm doing before I cut into this hair is making sure that this line is clean. So let me show you close up so you guys can see exactly what I'm going to comb this hair out, starting in the center, and the first thing I'm checking is to see if my line is clean and sharp before I refine it by point cutting. Because if you have any areas of length on the top of this section here, this is being caused by the hair being too long. When point cutting, I'm keeping the blades parallel to the hair that I'm cutting, and the objective here is to just create space in the line that I'm cutting. Now all of the internal shape has been refined and point cut, I'm going to work on the outline. Because I'm going to be removing more length of hair, instead of using my normal chipping technique, this time I'm going to begin by using a club cutting technique. I'm going to lift this hair almost up to the hairline, so I comb the hair down, allow it to sit in its natural position, and then club cut away the density of hair before making my decision on the overall and finished shape of the hairline. I can then refine any of the unwanted hair that sits outside of the hairline using my chipping technique. As I work round to the side of the haircut, I've tilted the head over to the side, lifted the chin, and I'm going to connect my short guide in the nape of the neck into the long area at the front, maintaining this overall length. So the hair to be removed is this area here, created by when we used our graduation. Because of the amount of hair being removed, I'm going to use a club cutting technique to begin with, and then shifting to using my chipping technique afterwards to just really refine and soften that outline. Secure the hair using the wide side of the comb for less tension, and removing the unwanted hair, and then we can change to using our chipping technique to finally refine and finish the outline. You can see the finished result. Super clean, super sharp line with that beautiful, beautiful graduation. Thank you so much for watching this week's tutorial. I hope you liked it. Leave us in the comments what haircuts you want to see on the channel next. What are you struggling with in the salon, and how can we help make your haircutting processes easier, quicker, and overall more enjoyable?